Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason. I'm your watch guy today. Today I am featuring an absolutely beautiful emerald green diver. And honestly, I think the looks of this one will really win over most of you. Just the aesthetics of this piece is it's just beautiful. Now it is packed with an 8215, but I think it's the first one I'm gonna let it off the hook a little bit. It's that nice. Now this has been sent to me by Grmontrewatches.com. You may recognize the name Grmontre. Now they are linked to Merca. They have a store on Aliexpress. I will link the Grmontre store in the description as well as the Merca store. They have plenty of absolutely beautiful watches. They range completely from whatever you can really imagine, from dress watches to dive watches to really out there like conceptual type pieces. Very large catalogue over at Merca or Grmontre, to be quite honest with you. Now, this one comes in at $149. $149 translates to about £114. And for that, I think you're getting a really good deal. It's a good looking piece. Now, this has been sent to me for free by the stores that I mentioned, so keep that in mind while we go through this review. However, it will be completely honest and open, as always. Now, with that being said, let's hear from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by watchshopping.com, an online store that was established in 2017. They have over 1,000 watches in stock and in hand available to you, and they are from 90 plus different brands. 4,000 plus Chrono24 and Trustpilot reviews shows how trustworthy watchshopping.com is. They are the one-stop shop for any watch that your heart may desire. If you'd like to take a closer look, they are linked in the description. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. So guys, let's turn this camera around and let's have a look at this absolutely beautiful emerald green dial. So guys, this piece was sent to me by the Mercure store on AliExpress. Now they obviously have some sort of link to Grmontre. I've linked in the description where you can pick this watch up from. It's an absolute beauty. For the price, I think it's a very, very good deal, especially with these absolutely fantastic green tone looks, which are once again becoming very popular due to Omega releasing a green piece, which has enraged the Rolex fanboys. So once again, green pieces are definitely in. This one is the G-1204M. It is £115 on the store linked in the description. That comes in at around $149. Now it's packed with a Miyota 8 series movement, which isn't exactly my favourite type of movement to come across. Thankfully though, this watch does really make up for that in the design and the actual looks of the piece. It is 39.4 millimeters in diameter here to here. It is 15.5 millimeters thick, which is a little bit chunky, but that is including the case back bezel and slightly domed sapphire. Lug to lug is a very wearable 45.4 millimeters, and these are 20 millimeter lugs. Definitely plenty of options for bands on this one. The casing of this piece is made in 316L stainless steel, and we have really nice levels of finishing on the casing here on the side. We have brushed sides and brushed upper lugs. The whole watch throughout is brushed, which I usually prefer. I do like a little bit of a polished chamfered edge, stuff like that, but if you're going to go with one or the other, it's definitely a brushed finish for me. That gives the watch much more longevity for me when you're going to knock it and dink it, stuff like that. It's hidden much better with a brushed finish. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional dive bezel. Very nice action to it. Really lovely tool-like click. In fact, I'd go as far to say that they've done a very excellent job with this bezel. Very tight fit to it. Very usable grip around the outer edge. You can see that coin-like finish to the outer edge there. Very usable piece. Grmontre have done really well there. This is a screw down crown, no crown guards on this piece. Just unscrew this. First position, always the date And then second position is the handset. If you can see here that the handset is showing that that 8000 series movement in the back because it's not a hacking movement here. Although I know a lot of people don't really care about the 8000 series movements. I know they don't mind it. Personally, it is not one for me. It is just something that's a little bit outdated, in my opinion. This ceramic green bezel insert has white markings throughout. We have a 15-minute dive indicator over here and a Lume pip up at the 12 o'clock at that triangle. As we move to the rear of the watch, you can see is a display case back, and we have plenty of information around the outer edge, including some of the statistics that we haven't gotten to just yet. It is a slightly different type of case back on this one. This is octagonal, maybe? Octagonal case back, which I'm not sure how easy that would be to access with a normal case back opener. Crown on this one is signed with a polished outer edge to it. Now, the crystal on this one is sapphire. I imagine at this price it could be sapphire coated. However, that never really bothers us. It does have a blue anti-reflective coating that you can see there. And if I tip it towards the camera, you can see that is a domed sapphire crystal, which really does give a nice effect to the dial at certain angles and really gives a nice aesthetic to the watch itself. Altogether, this casing provides the piece with 200 meters of water resistance, and we can definitely actually call this a dive piece. This is something that I would be quite confident taking into the water myself. As we move into the dial, it's a real feature. That sunburst green effect to it is just absolutely beautiful. And honestly, when I catch in certain lights when I'm in work or when I'm going about my daily business, it's just very attractive to look at. It's just a beautiful dial. Up at the 12 o'clock, we have Grmontre printed to the dial in white. Below that, we have 200 meters automatic. This one does have a date window cut away here. That is a rather small date window, and that's because of that Miyota 8000 series movements in the back. They do have a smaller date disc on them. Usually thinner print to that too. We have a stainless steel effect border around that date window, which is quite nice. The indices are applied to this piece. As you can see, the slight depth to the dial that gives, especially with that curvature in the crystal itself. Lume centers to the indices, and this one has a stainless steel polished effect around the outer edge. That follows through into the handset also, which also has loomed centers. We have a really nice chaptering around the outer edge that has white markings to it and 5-minute intervals throughout. Really does again give a level of depth to the design of this piece. I really do like that in a dive watch. I like that type of aesthetic in a dive watch. It makes me feel more comfortable with it, I think. The handset is not one that I can say that I've encountered before. The second hand has a lovely diamond effect balance on it with a sword style minute hand, and this almost as if it's a double triangle hour hand on this one with the arrow point at the tip of it. Very nice handset, very new handset to me. I don't know, I don't want to say original because I'm not sure if it's been taken from another piece, but it looks completely new to myself, and it's really nice to see a different style of handset over the usual Rolex or, you know, that type of thing that we see the Mercedes handsets all the time. Now, let's have a look at how the Lume is on this one. Not quite sure how it's going to fare with it being a Chinese manufacturer. However, it's not an AliExpress piece, so let's see what we're doing here. Lume on this one isn't bad at all. It's quite well loomed throughout. The bezel also loomed on this one. I imagine that will be the first thing to fade. However, the rest of the dial and the indices are quite good. I can't see any patchiness throughout it, which is a massive win. It's not the world's brightest Lume, I'll say that much, but for $150, I was expecting much worse. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, well done to Grmontre for this. I mean, we always want a good level of Lume in our divers, and they've provided that. This is actually much better than many pieces that you see on AliExpress, much better than the usual run-of-the-mill cheap brands. yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite impressed, to be fair. For the price point, obviously it's not going to beat out some Swiss watches, but for the price point, this is quite good. As we move away from the head of this piece, we move on to the bracelet. This is an oyster style bracelet that doesn't really offer much taper towards the clasp. That would be one of my downsides to it. It is push pin, however it's quite a sturdy bracelet. Male end link up here. The clasp is a very simple one with the Grmontre logo etched into it, double pushers, and it's a milled clasp. Again, all 316L stainless steel. High polish finish to the sides, which you see in plenty of watches. The brushed finishing on this is pretty acceptable, quite good, to be fair. I have started to add a few desk diving marks to it, as you can see throughout, but it's holding up really well. And it is quite a comfortable watch to wear. I'll just pop this on wrist. It fits very well to my 6.2-inch wrists, and that'll be because of that lug to lug distance. 45.4 millimeters is nothing on wrist. It's very much in the Seiko type of realm. Very short lug to lug watches make it really pleasurable to wear them, and that's exactly what this one does. I really do find it hard to criticize this watch at this price point, and I'll tell you why. Because I've bought so many Chinese pieces that have glaring issues with them, or glaring, downsides at that price. I just don't see them in this one. I think that it's a very lovely looking piece. It's well built. It's got good materials used. Yeah, they haven't really cheaped out on much. The one big downside is that movement. I really don't like my Miyota 8000 series movements. I don't think they're relevant anymore. If this was packed with an NH35 or something of the like, I would pretty much have nothing to moan about. The dial is absolutely beautiful. The lume is quite good. The indices and chaptering give this a real level of depth. The sapphire crystal is a beauty. Yeah, they've done really well. I didn't expect this. I really didn't. $150. This is a good buy. I'm going to tell you that much. I definitely advise this one. So that is my first impressions of Grmontre, and I've got to say that they're fantastic. Like, after this video goes out, I'm going to be going back to the contact that I have and saying, what else can you show me? Because, yeah, fantastic watch. Just absolutely so beautifully built. Now, I've been recycling a lot of these through my website lately. Shameless plug in the description. There's some nice pieces on there at the moment. Go have a look. I've been recycling these through my website recently, like the Chinese pieces that I get, or ones that I'm not going to keep for myself. But I think this one's kind of got to stay for a little while. I think I'm going to enjoy this for a little bit longer than I have a lot of others. So, if you'd like to pick your own up, there's a link in the description for you to use. If you do happen to use that, please let Mikhail know that I sent you. That would be a great help to the channel. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.